Hello and welcome to the Sacred Gates. My name is Illura and I'm so glad that you're joining me here, us here on the podcast today. Today I wanted to just briefly talk about bringing meaning to your practice. So I don't know what it is that you're practicing, but whatever you're practicing, sometimes we can go through stages as a practitioner where we feel like we don't really know where we're going with it all. Is there meaning? What's the meaning of it all? Am I successful at it? What is the point of it? Is this really helping me? Who am I in all of this practice? What is my spirit in all of this practice? What am I meant to be doing? And we live in an era where we have access to so many different techniques, modalities, methodologies, lineages. Incredible, really, if you think about it, just how much information there is out there. And so naturally, there's a lot of information, a lot of messages, a lot of opinions, a lot of paths. And so naturally, we do fall into confusion, especially if we don't have good teachers, and especially if we're not a good student as well. We can't just blame teachers. We also have to look at whether we're a good student or not to the art, to the path, or to our teachers, that we're learning from. And I just wanted to touch in this podcast on who are you in your practice and where do you belong? What do you do with yourself? And if you're like anyone who has spent time knowing thyself and getting to know thyself, as that saying goes, know thyself, through observing yourself, you come to realize, and the common name for it is the monkey mind, which I feel is very apt, because if you've ever sat with yourself and observed your mind, what a crazy person you are. What a crazy person I am. There is no one really that comes out of that experience who's been really honest in their practice of observing themselves and has come out and said that they're like completely withered. I mean, the monkey mind really is insane. And, it's like we all really probably should be in a mental asylum when we look at our minds, right? It's just natural. It's normal. The monkey mind is like this. And the point that I want to make in this episode is, what do we do with this monkey mind when we are trying to know thyself, we are trying to connect to our spirit, to our higher self, we are trying to touch something beyond the monkey mind, which is really you, and you being your fabricated self. So your personalities, your constructs, your different issues, your beliefs, your narratives, this made crazy, mix of this fabricated self that you are, that we are. There's so much more beyond that. But how do we get beyond it if we're not willing to be with it? So there is a certain way of being a practitioner that I would say is not uncommon, and I've been through it myself. So I know the limitations of this way of practicing, and that is that you push away the monkey mind, or you try to change it, which is often pushing it away, especially because most of the time it doesn't feel very nice to witness the monkey mind, especially if your awareness is contracted. So we then push the monkey mind away, but where does that get us? So just say the goal is to connect to a deity. Just say you want to connect to Kuan Yin, Blessed Kuan Yin, and you feel that the way to do it is to push away your monkey mind. Now, Kuan Yin, first of all, wouldn't advise that. She doesn't advise that. And what she advises is that you need to allow your monkey mind to be there as it is. For example, there is a dog in my life at this time that when I first came across him, he was in a tiny cage and his body was contorting to this cage, had contorted to this cage. And when he saw me, when we met, he became very, very excited and was like shaking the cage, and it was moving because he's a ginormous beast of a dog. And he's recently been able to spend time in my front garden where he has a lot more room. Now, if this dog is a symbol for the monkey mind, when we try to cage the monkey mind, when we try to control it, when we try to push it away, or when we try to change it and interfere with it, it gets agitated like a giant dog in a small cage. But when we allow the monkey mind just to be as it is, even if he's invited all his brothers along for the ride, which it can sometimes feel like it, right? When we allow the monkey mind to be as it is, then it is like this great dog that I know who has room to be in this amazing garden, and all his trauma is given space. His spine is given space. His weak hind legs are given space, are given sun, are given room. And so all that controlling is no longer there. All that suppressing and pushing away and grasping is no longer happening. And so he is peace. He is at peace. And I use that example because it's often helpful to find something that's external to what is actually happening inside of us. So instead, we control the monkey and we push the monkey away until we don't really know who we are. So we don't realize how crazy we really are. So if you are a practitioner and you're not spending time allowing your monkey mind to be there as it is and observing objectively how nuts and crazy you are, then you don't know who you are. You don't realize that there is this fabricated self that you are. And unfortunately, what happens when we don't, as practitioners, as spiritual practitioners, we don't allow the monkey mind to be as it is, often we end up developing a hell of a lot of pride. Have you ever met a spiritual person who's really, really prideful? And so it's only when we know ourselves, when we're willing to really meet ourselves, that we then are able to release these emotions. We're allowed to be honest about how crazy we are, how fabricated a part of us is. And it's only in knowing our crazy, fabricated, prideful, horrible, hateful self that we then can, in contrast, experience something else truly and honestly, and also have more compassion for everyone else's prideful, hateful, anguished selves, because everyone is like that inside. So in realizing that we're crazy, it kind of wipes away the pride. Because how can you be proud when you realize you belong in a mental asylum? You understand? And so bringing it back to daily practice, just say, for example, you're wanting to connect with Kuan Yin, as I was saying earlier. And you sit there meditating and you're pushing away your fabricated self. You're pushing away your monkey mind. You're agitating the cage, but you're trying to push it away. And all you're really doing is suppressing it or repressing it. And you're doing that so that you can fabricate an experience with Kuan Yin. And you're trying to fabricate your way into the sacred gate to which you want to meet Kuan Yin and have messages from Kuan Yin, energy with Kuan Yin, insight from Kuan Yin, having touched the consciousness of Kuan Yin, to feel something connected with her, right? You want to feel her essence. You're going in there, but you won't touch the essence that she is, because essentially Kuan Yin is an essence. She's a quality. She's not just a person in a picture, that we have this idea of. She's actually, in essence, she's an essence. She's a quality. And you won't be able to touch that. You won't be able to experience that if you are busy pushing away your fabricated self, pushing away the monkey mind. You need to actually be and allow the monkey mind to be there. And then you need to learn how to walk that fine line between allowing your awareness to stay uncontracted while allowing the monkey mind to be there as it is. And while you are taking in all of the reality that is not just the monkey mind, there's also, for example, the sound of the car right now, a motorbike passing by. This is also reality. So in your reality, there's your breath also. There's the There's the awareness, the different energies of whatever you're experiencing. All of who you are. By being with all of that, then you're able to also be with the emerging consciousness, the emerging presence of Kuan Yin, or whatever it is that you're working on. So say, for example, you're wanting to enter the sacred gate of the Reiki symbols that you were learning. You want to enter the sacred gate and meet the essence of a clear quartz crystal wand. You're wanting to work with a beautiful mandala that someone has gifted you. You are wanting to enter into the essence of a flower essence, whatever it is. You want to connect to the quality of it, but if you keep blocking and pushing your monkey mind away, you will not enter. And instead, what you'll do is you actually will create a fabricated experience, and you'll just keep bouncing off that. And you won't be able to become a temple for that essence, for that quality to come through you, because you haven't made peace with the monkey mind. Instead, you feel uncomfortable about it, you feel ashamed of it, it feels horrible, so you push it away, and then you try to force another experience, which is to have the connection with whatever it is that you're wanting to connect with. And so in that process, can you see how there's no surrender? Can you see how there's an increase in fabricating experiences, in fabricating more emotion, unfortunately in creating more craving, which is very dangerous. And you're craving to have this experience with just say Kuan Yin, and instead you don't meet the deity essence at all. You can't. You've got to go through the sacred gate, and the sacred gate is being with reality as it is, because that is the real practice of spiritual enlightenment. It is the real practice of honesty. And honesty, it clarifies the paths that you're wanting to walk on. You're wanting to walk on the path of light by connecting with beings of light, or with things of the earth that are light, like flowers and crystals. Yet you're not willing to be with the density and inertial stream of your fabricated self, of the monkey mind, and thus you're then not able to move through the gateways and walk the fine line. And so if you are personally experiencing this and you want to move on from this place that you are in, and that this is making sense to you personally, then I'm really glad, and I'm glad that I've brought it up, and I hope that it's helpful. And what I would say next is you need to understand what it is that's going on in you, and you need to want to know thyself and meet thyself and understand what honest practice really is about, and what it is that's going to be really important for you, and what you need to do in your practice next. So for example, if you've got an issue with focus and that you're not able to pull any of this together, or you're not able to focus even on being with your monkey mind, or you're able to get past there, but you're not able to enter the sacred gate into the essence and quality, and it's to do with focus, then you need to work on your focus. And then, of course, you need to refine, well, what are the mechanics? What is actually taking place here? To use your discernment, to use real awareness. That's the tool that you're training there. You're not training anything to do with the monkey mind. You're not training to get rid of it or anything like that. It's got nothing to do with the monkey mind. That's why it doesn't matter whether you have a good day or a bad day with meditation. It's all the same. But what the practice of meditation is to actually train your awareness. So if you're having trouble with focus, then that's where you need to start next, and then work on actually being really, really honest, really wanting to know thyself, and then really wanting to have an honest practice, not just fabricating, forcing, and using excitement or things like that to propel you further into more fabricated self, which is why there are many people who are more prideful the more meditation they seem to do. So instead, we want to be releasing, we want to be subtracting, which comes through honestly observing who you are and really wanting to know yourself. And then that takes you into a place of real surrender, realizing you're crazy and being with that craziness. And from there, you're able to move more and more gently, more and more honestly, and through those fine lines, and entering into the sacred gates that you wanted to actually connect with. And that it's not about you receiving, you going and getting, you creating and pushing and making, that it's actually about protecting the art that you're practicing, protecting the essence of your spiritual being, the protecting the practice that so many other people have walked and are walking right now. And when you go into your practice so honestly and surrendering to the principles that you are practicing, then so many sacred gates open. So much is revealed to you about what true power, true love, true spirituality can really allow you to experience. And the more you do that on your path, the more you help to raise the energy, the spiritual frequency of others who are also on this path, or who are umming and ahhing about this path, just by you walking your path with honesty, with surrender, with trust, beyond your fabricated self, beyond your craving, grasping, pushing away mind. Because there's so much more, because your consciousness is always saturating. If you're walking a path that is honest and really developing you, you saturate your whole being, your whole temple every time you practice. And so you're forever changed every time you practice. And you just keep practicing and practicing and developing and developing. And it's very rewarding, rather than just pushing away and so that you can get to this other thing. You see what I'm saying? So that's just what I wanted to talk to you about today. So I hope this talk has been helpful, and I really appreciate all of you subscribing, and I hope so much that you're getting some value out of the podcast episodes, and I know I am, and I really appreciate being able to do this. So thank you so much, and I look forward to our next time together. Bye-bye for now.